Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all of you at the SMK University of Applied Social Sciences video studio, where we are announcing the opening of an international student scientific practical conference, Future Creators. We are very pleased to have such a large number of participants. We wish you all inspiration and a great time sharing your knowledge and discoveries. Aim of the conference is to present and discuss possible ideas for future products or processes relevant to any area of public life. Young researchers of various fields of study and science will share the results, ideas, and visions of applied research on how to create a future creative solutions relevant to the modern world. I'm inviting a welcome word to say Gabija Skučaitė, the Chancellor of SMK University of Applied Social Sciences.
Hello, good morning. It's an early morning in Lithuania, and I'm really glad and feel quite privileged to welcome you at this conference organized by SMK University of Applied Social Sciences and KSU, Kazimieras Simonavičius University. So this is a great opportunity for young researchers, students, to embrace the world of science and academics. And today, when I saw the program of the conference, I felt quite astonished because of this quite and big and broad coverage of different topics of today's problems and issues. And I see from the scope of the program how diverse it's in the topics, but also how many different aspects you will cover. When talking about the future, it is much important to embrace today and reality, and also have insights about the future, but these insights must come from embracing the past and today. So I wish you to talk about the future and make these insights and possible and generate possible solutions which will affect the world of today and tomorrow. For my special praise goes to the students who dedicated their time, their determination, their energy to create this conference content. I understand how much dedication it's needed to prepare yourself for this conference, to prepare a presentation, to be ready to present, to feel this kind of a stress in speaking publicly to others. So you are truly your own hero, taking this step with a lot of the courage which is needed in the academic world. So I praise you very sincerely, and I wish you to I wish you luck in this determination in continuation of this process, because this is how we create academic culture at SMK, at KSU, the culture fulfilled by thoughtful, progressive, insightful environment. And the students are the key element of this environment. So for the students who are the key of such a conference, I want to wish two things. One is be proud of yourself because of what you are doing today. As I've said, this takes a lot of courage, and that's how you show yourself to the world with your great ideas, with your great minds. And the other part of my wish is stay humble in this big arena of the science, in the front of the unknown, because that's where the essence of the true researcher, academic stands, in this understanding of big and greatness of unknown, of something that we need to understand that we do not know. And that's where we go into this deepness of learning and knowing and searching for the new things. So keep doing this. Go into unknown, go deeper, and go beyond it. Best luck for you in this conference and furtherwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabija Skučaitė. Now next, Viktorija Palubinskienė, the Director of SMK University of Applied Social Sciences.
Hello, everyone. Hello, our students, our lecturers, and our guests. Every year, I am really wait this day in May. This great day, then we have a great tradition, our students' conference. And why it is so important for me personally and for our institution? I think the answer is because this day is the result of the hard work of every member of the community, of everyone who is participating in this event. Every student put a lot of effort, attitude, concentration to prepare for today's presentation. And every lecturer dedicate the time, energy, and belief in the power of the student. I think that's mainly gives this understanding how hard and how big effort the student put to this event. So it is the big celebration in the higher education school in our community, and we really appreciate that we could see the growth and improvement of community members. Also, I think that it is important day because today, together with our community, we have a large group of our guests, our colleagues, and representative of our national and international partners. And it's also important because the main mission of the higher education institution is to develop the students' research skills and especially they develop the ability to demonstrate this competence, the ability to demonstrate the public speaking abilities, and the ability to spread the message for the audience. Also, it is really important that today our conference is Future Creators. The name or the title of conference is Future Creators. Our future, our world, the future of our world needs active, brave, creative people. And I believe that everyone who participates today in this conference is really the person like that. And these ideas is ideas for the future. Also, I really was surprised in the big program of this conference, and I would like to welcome the fact that we are talking about important sectors and activity as communication, creative industries, health, innovation, sustainable business, and more topics about that. So I think that it could be the day with a great ideas and inspiration for the future. So I wish to all speakers to be active, brave, sincere, and demonstrate their competence and knowledge. Congratulations for everyone, and good luck.
Well, now I'm inviting Professor Dr. Susran Erkan Eroğlu from Osmaniye Korkut University, Turkey. His presentation is named Social Dilemmas in Social Media, Contemporary Challenges for Future Creators. Professor Dr. Susran Erkan Eroğlu's scientific work includes research of youth and university students in areas like career decision-making, self-efficacy, life satisfaction, depending on socioeconomic status and gender, dimensions of aggression behavior, students' academic emotions, students' future career opportunities, and many other. Professor, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to, before I start, I want to thank you to the organizers of this really good, and I'm sure that it will have good effects and consequences on our future creators. And I want to thank you, the organizers, that they gave me this opportunity to be in contact with this kind of creators for our future. Yes, to make it short, because we don't have much time, and I want to start with some concepts about my presentation. I wanted to make it like a lecture. That's why I didn't, not lecture, sorry, want to make it a speech and dialogue with people who are watching. That's why I didn't prepare any slides or PowerPoint presentation. But I'm sure it will be nice, and you will be listening to my speech in very concentrated way. Yes, the topic of my presentation is social dilemma in social media, contemporary challenges for the future creators. I want to start with to put some concepts which I will focus on my presentation. These are control, manipulate, polarize, distract, monetize, and divide. Yes, on their own, maybe you will have something in your mind about their meanings and about their implications. But during my speech, I will use all these concepts in order to make this dilemma clear in your minds. Yes. Control. Let's start with control if you want, because especially for the last 20 or 30 years, internet and for the last 5 years, social media is really has an important role in our lives. For example, when we wake up in the morning, what is the first thing we do? Please think about it now, and I'm sure the first thing comes to your mind is checking your cellular phone, smartphones. If you have Instagram, if you have Facebook, the first thing you do is to check what's happening, what happened during the night while you were sleeping. Did you get any likes? Did you get any new things from your account? So the first thing we do in the morning makes our day shape in the way what we get from our social media. And the second concept comes here. It's manipulation. And these information, this knowledge, this data that we gain from our social media starts to manipulate our day. How shall we behave? How we will behave? How we have attitudes according to specific situations towards others? And these manipulations in the future becomes our way of behaving. This means our behaviors started to be shaped by our social media. As a sociologist, I cannot criticize social media's influence in such way, because I want to put a statement about this influence on our lives. As future creators, you will be in this kind of social media community, let's say, because this community will let you to have information, to gather information from others, and to make your behaviors shape according to these informations and concepts. The other concept is polarization. This polarization process makes you polarize. I mean, makes you to have a situation in specific conditions and to make your decisions according to this situation and conditions. So this makes others distract. Distraction concept comes into the stage in this moment. This distraction makes you feel sometimes stressed, sometimes nervous, sometimes afraid of the things what's happening around us. So the other thing, the other concepts, the two concepts that I mentioned at the beginning, monetize and divide, is up to beyond us. We cannot control it. Till now, we can control manipulation, more or less, polarization and distraction. We can control it, but at the beginning, in the control umbrella, we cannot control monetizing and division, because monetizing doesn't count for us. When we have something in our smartphones like Instagram, Facebook, they are all free. They don't pay anything for these social media platforms. This means this is not the product. You become the product on yourself. And this product, shaped according to needs of the this kind of social media platforms. That's why we become the product of this monetization. Criticized, but everything is okay because of internet. Can you hear me well? Is there any problem? Everything is okay, thank you. With this thing, control mechanism shapes our behaviors and attitudes. That's why the designers, technology designers of today has the biggest control in the history on us with the social media. This made us product of these social media platforms. And this makes us feel not free in the social media world. That's why we try to create our identity according to using these kind of social medias. For example, accessing to information gives us freedom, and this freedom makes us feel as if we are free and we can take whatever we want in the name of information. But in social media, our students think that future creators, let's say, think that yes, they are free, they are liberal, and they can gain whatever they want in the name of information and knowledge. But there is a cliche is saying that nothing is as it seems. So only we see what this social media platform wants to show us. So we should have critical eye in order to understand what is happening around us. So this kind of relation between social media and individual makes individual feel free, but the data we gain from the social media is limited according to the conditions around us. So we are not only the products, we can say, but we are participants in this large cooperation. What do I mean by this statement? Yes, we are products and also we are participants because we shape the knowledge we share each other. This means that this cooperation, I mean, nobody knows each other. They have only connection via internet, and they share some knowledge between each other, and this knowledge, data or shared contents makes people behave according to the situation. So we have to be careful about what we are doing in the future while sharing data or knowledge or something in our social media, because for future creators, they will be the gatekeepers in their own society or community. That's why this is really important for these concepts that we can put in our lives. Yes, there's a control, there is manipulation, distraction, polarization, monetization, and division. But this division, the last one, this division shouldn't let us to be harsh to others, because everybody has her or his own identity, and according to this identity, we behave we have lifestyles. So we have to respect others' lives, others' likes, and others' way of living, their lifestyles. So we should be humble, and we should be modest while we are sharing in our social media platform in our accounts. With this, what is the dilemma? Let's say, dilemma is this: we have the great opportunity to access information, and this information should be used in a good way. If we cannot use it, the dilemma, the paradox occurs. By the way, while we are sharing this information and while we are in this world, in social media world, the providers of this social media has a lot of data about us. And another way of dilemma is whether they are using this data according to their profits, or they are just keeping them in safe. Yes, there are lots of rumors about this using data of the users, not in the name of their sake, but in the name of danger. So we have this suspect in our minds already. And the other issue is that social media creates the addiction for users of social media. I want to state here something, that the only sectors who user for their clients are this social media and unfortunately drug dealers. They use their clients, they call their clients as users. So we might be an addicted person while using our social media. So we have to do it in a balanced way. We use social media, yes, okay, we will use it, we will learn it, and we will gather together in new social movements, sociology. Social media is really important media for people in order to share information each other. For example, in 1996, there was an SMS to all people in Philippines: wear black and go to EDSA. And people gathered together with this SMS, and social media played a great role to be against the government, which is anti-democratic in Philippines, and it changed the whole situation in this country. So, in conclusion, social media is really useful for our lives in order to make, in order to reach information and access information easily and a rapid way. But don't forget that it changed rapidly. All technology structure change rapidly, and people use this social media. They have two ways in order to use this: in a good way or in an evil way. So we will choose how to use our social media according to for the sake of our community and society. As the future creators, you should use your social media for good aims, good goals, in order to give your community, or in order to give way to your society for your future in a good way. That's my words, and I want to thank you so much for your patience, and it was really great privilege for me to have this conversation and this speech towards to a distinguished group. And I want to thank you so much again for the organizations and for the listeners. Thank you.
I do have a question for you. Do you believe that in the future people will use social media more and reveal more of the personal life, or will it decrease with time?
The answer is absolutely yes. The people will use social media more, and yes, they will reveal their how can we say, identity, written identity content more. But as I told you, that depends on the technology designers, whether they will use this information and data in a good way or in an evil way. Hopefully they will use it, or they will never use it, let's say.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Dear audience, let me present Patricia Noyanita, a PhD student in Communication and Information at the Department of Public Communications of Vytautas Magnus University, Lithuania. Her current research interests are related to digital media era and how the concept of media literacy and disinformation, also mediatization and democratic participation, are relevant and important in the debate on changes in the digital media environment. Her presentation is entitled Media Literacy as an Integral Part of Building Democratic Resilience. Patricia, the floor is yours.
So, hello everyone. My name is Patricia Noyanita. I am a PhD student at Vytautas Magnus University. This is my first fresh year, and today I would like to share with all of you my insight, my ideas for the rest 4 years in my research perspective. So I would like to invite you and to think with the Paul Virilio quote about technology, that when we invent a ship, we also invent a shipwreck, and every technology carries its own negativity, which is invented at the same time as technological progress. So there is a growing need to analyze the specific role of media and communication to our globalized society. Nowadays, communication ecosystem is much more complex than it was a few years or decades ago. It is important to understand the context, why it is important to discuss about media literacy as an integral part of building democratic resilience. So the 2021, the Media Literacy Index in 35 European countries assesses resilience to false information based on indicators of media freedom, education, and trust. According to a study, Lithuania ranks in 18th place. Also, Eurostat research revealed that people in Lithuania not so often check reliability of information. It's only 11% according to research. The result of the survey initiated by the Lithuanian Business Forum together with the research company RAID revealed that people in Lithuania have a lack of trust in media, 42%. Also, it is important to mention that this year, the non-governmental organization Reporters Without Borders, which assesses the situation of the media in 118 countries, awarded Lithuania with 9th place. Why I say awarded? Because, however, it is believed that the jump in ratings may have been caused not only by the changes in Lithuania, but also because situation in other countries are getting worse. Because this year, according to the research, situation in 28 countries classified as the very bad. According to a professor at the Center for Journalism and Media Research Society, Andrius Vaišnius, distrust of the media is also an unresolved problem. According to a survey provided last year, only 28% out of the 1,000 respondents claimed that they trust in media. Therefore, the trend of Lithuania media freedom will be visible if Lithuania maintains in such a high position for at least 3 years. Hence, the 2022 Endelman Trust research said that they view the media as a divisive force, and the concerns about fake news have been reached all-time high. It's 76%. So these examples simply confirm the relevance of raising awareness about media literacy in our society. A disordered information environment requires that every person recognize and become a vector in the information wars and develop a set of skills to navigate in communication environment. Everybody can now publicly present himself without boundaries. So to participate in today's global society, citizens need the skills to access, analyze, evaluate, create, and participate with the media information 24 hours. The problem is that we have a growing trend of information disruptions, identified such as the influx of disinformation, strategic manipulation, propaganda, and fake narratives, also hate speech. These examples represent one of the biggest threats to our society. Because of the abundance of information, we have received an influx of these information disruptions. Also, we have a globally operating platforms, from Facebook to Amazon, are becoming increasingly central to public and private life. Transforming key economic sectors and spheres of life is just naturally deeply affects societies around the globe. Also, we have digital media tools, and they shift the balance between viewing and participation. Now we all can create our online content, which previously belonged only to media professionals. Professor G. Rand, in a conference about cognitive aspect, they were being analyzing why people believe and share misinformation and fake news. He said that people are not able to think independent and critically, but the most important aspect was the lack of media literacy skills. All communication research, most of them, I would say, discussed that media literacy is interactive, dynamic, flexible, and rechanging. It is such a lifelong learning, and it is important to be updated constantly, because media literacy no longer just influence our culture, they are our culture. Professor Len Mastermind described media literacy as our critical autonomy, or our ability to think for oneself. Canadian researcher Renee Hobbs claimed that media literacy has sometimes been described such a pair of glasses that change the way we look at the world. So it is important to understand that media literacy builds an understanding of the role of media in our democratic society, as well as essential skills to become competent, critical, and literate in all media forms, so we could control the interpretation of what we see, hear, or interact with each other. But to become media literate is not about statistics about media. It's the ability to learn to raise the right questions about the world around us. Its ability to navigate in the global world successfully is the biggest challenge for all of us. But world is unstoppable improving. So as a sum up, I would say that media literacy is a part of the complex media information landscape of the digital age. It also teaches society how to understand and criticize media. And of course, learning to navigate in our global world successfully is, of course, the biggest challenge for all of us. But I could say that world is, of course, unstoppable, improving, and I would like to represent for you one of the best examples that are doing in Europe, also in Lithuania, that are related with the media literacy. So we have Media for Change as an international movement that analyze problems that are outside of the media agenda. They provide media literacy courses. Also, they work with the media monitoring, learning activities, and investigative journalism. One of the best examples we have on a Facebook, on social network, USA Embassy in Vilnius, together with the Lithuanian Journalism Center, provide an online seminar on a serious topic about disinformation and fake news. Also, we have the Bank that work as an independent technological analytical center. And the main task is to research disinformation in the public spheres and create educational media literacy campaigns. If we will check the European landscape, we have a Center for Media Literacy that provides a course about media literacy, which contains a collection of the core ideas and the tools that are fundamental to media literacy. Also, we have a news literacy project, free mobile app called Informable, which in a game format provides the opportunity to gain news literacy skills using real-world examples. Also, if we will see from a different perspective, we have the art installation in Prague. It's a lamp that responds to disinformation websites. So basically the installation is connected to a server and receives alerts whenever there is increased activities on check fake news websites. It's also a very good example from the art perspective. Of course, from my side, one of the best examples are the project at Vytautas Magnus University, the DGRS. I'm also working in this project as a young researcher. The main purpose is to detect, analyze, prevent, and curb disinformation activities in Lithuania and beyond. It's also organized the media literacy courses, educating the general public on how to recognize false information, of course, develop methodology for the analysis of disinformation. Basically, in this project, it's Vytautas Magnus University collaboration together with the biggest news sites in Lithuania, Delfis. So my final idea in today's presentation is for all of us to think about that. Try to understand that actually media literacy is an integral part of building democratic resilience. And this is not like a momentary solution by the problem posed by technological progress, but for us to understand that media literacy is an enduring social benefit. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Patricia, for sharing your research results with us. It was very insightful. I just have one question for you.
Yes, of course.
Can you tell what encouraged you to do the research in this particular field, and who inspired you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good question, of course. Just try to be short, but I have my bachelor also in communication, and I was doing my research about leaders on social media, how they affect young generation. And then on my master thesis, I was doing research about mediatization of parenthood. So I was analyzing the children, the parents' perspective in the media field. And there was a few aspects about media literacy then. It was a few years ago. And of course, during pandemia, the COVID-19 situation, the aspect as disinformation, as a media literacy, they were starting to be a very popular field. And who inspires me to analyze this field, that most of the news sites, there was like an explanation what it is a media literacy. But my main goal is to analyze as deeply as possible. And of course, the encouragement started also from Ukraine and from Russian invasion to Ukraine. All this war context also, we just give me a powerful insights, information that these topics about media literacy is very relevant to our society, and it's very important to analyze and just move forward with it. So I would say this is my answer, if I answered to your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now I'm inviting our third guest, Gabija Skučaitė, a PhD student from the School of Economics and Business at Kaunas University of Technology, Lithuania. Gabija Skučaitė's thesis focuses on studying motivational aspects of gamification in order to reveal the impact of gamification on motivation of agile teams in the human resource management field. Her presentation is named Gamification Application at Workplace as the tip of the iceberg, overestimation or underestimation. Gabija, the floor is yours.
Hello. So, hello, I'm Gabija Skučaitė, I'm a PhD student, and my goal for today is to introduce you with gamification and invite you to think and look deeper behind the game elements. As you, for example, maybe you know, points, levels, leaderboards, badges, and etc. So, as the work environment continues to evolve, organizations tend to differentiate themselves by chasing the value creation in the marketplace through the human resource.
This can be reflected in the amount of attention given to digitalized work systems and structures such as gamification that facilitate employee performance. In 2019, Talent LMS conducted a gamification survey, and the results show that 89% of respondents claimed that if a task is gamified, they feel eager to complete it, plus the activity will place them in a competitive mood and mindset. 90% of employees feel more productive when using gamification. Employee happiness can be increased by 89% with a gamified workplace. Also, 97% of employees aged 35 plus claimed gamified activities improve the quality of their work. So gamified tasks have the ability to motivate, engage, and direct employees in their day-to-day tasks, outlining strategies and encouraging productivity at a higher rate than standard activities. In the literature, we have two most common definitions, the most common used definition of gamification. The first one is universal and the most popular. It says that gamification is the use of game elements in non-game context. The second definition presents process approach to gamification, and it says that gamification is a process of enhancing a service with affordances for gameful experiences in order to support users' overall value creation. And here you may ask, what is the difference and why it is important? The first perspective highlights game design elements, implying gamification to be a result of game elements. It is more function focused. The second one focused on the goal-oriented users' outcome and experiences of gamification. It is more human-centered. And to understand these two approaches more, just imagine a first one like a factory that assumes its workers will do their jobs because they are required to, not because they necessarily want to perform the associated task. And imagine the second as modern factory, modern workplace with employee experiences, well-being, talent management programs. I'm sure you feel the difference. But despite the difference, both approaches emphasize that application of game design elements to work practices make them more gameful. Also, it should be noted that game elements could also produce negative experience that could affect the desired outcome. So that's why it is important to research and to know more about gamification in the workplace. When we are talking about gamification, we have to think about three key parts, and which never stand alone. The means is the action, objects, or system by which a result is achieved. Context is where we are going to implement gamification, and goals, what we are going to achieve. We would call these three parts as three wise men of gamification in today's presentation. And means is in gamification is everything what could be borrowed from the games. So it is called game elements usually, but other researchers sometimes use game design mechanics, dynamics, aesthetics, and other synonyms. So it doesn't change the meaning. Following few examples of game elements classification are applied. As you can see, the same points could be could be named as components, could be named as achievement-based affordances, also could be structural elements or game mechanics. So what is important? Game design elements can be classified based on artifact similarity and type, and some other categories of game elements exist, and some individual elements may overlap, as I said before, making them seem suitable for another category. So gamification has a multi-layered purpose or goals. First of all, there's always the bigger goal of in management or in human resource management directly. But gamification itself has two parallel goals: to afford gameful experiences and to support users' experience value in use of our processes. And the third wise man is a context, and gamification can be applied in a wide variety of life and organizational contexts. Over time, gamification has grown in popularity. So human resource management, organizational management, logistica, only a few examples. And what is important, what I want to highlight is what makes workplace context different in compared to others. And it is emphasized that voluntary participation is very limited in the workplace context, because usually employees do not have opportunity to choose to participate or not, because game elements is already in their work system. Also, gamification allows to collect a wide variety of data on employee performance. Sometimes this data could be very sensitive, especially if organization lack of transparency and trust. Moreover, hierarchy exists in the organization, and more friendly or less friendly relationship that could result in avoidance of participation in gamification exists. And in between of that three key parts of gamification, there are the essence of whole gamified system or process, and it is human. Human participation is a necessary condition. So psychological outcome and behavioral outcome are equal to or even more important than the means, goals, and context. And this component is difficult to predict, and it is almost out of control of the creator of gamification. And for the last part of my presentation, I would like to share the result of our research. And we conducted a study to identify the relationship between the different elements of the gamification and the reasons for achieving goals. It was a case study. We participated with Emotica. It is a nice mobile micro-learning application. And data were collected from application system reports and through conducting interviews. And I think that about 10 different organizations were included. So what was interesting, if we, for example, take community chat as game element that could be a tool for feedback, sharing images, photos, and so on. And we are well known with community chat because we find it on any social networks, and we use it a lot. But we were surprised when we noticed that none of the type of goal pursuing indicates a link to motivation for socializing through community chat. So in other words, in the organization environment, in our case, so socializing through community chat was not motivating at all. And the results showed that community chat requires the integration of other elements of gamification. And the second example could be about team challenge. And the results showed that team challenge emerged as a collective need of individuals, even when the goal was not individual, has not individual importance to them. So we realized that there are a lot of factors in work environment. As I mentioned before, it could be a relationship between employees. It could be a relationship between executives and employees, and it could be related with different organizational culture factors and so on. So there are a lot of factors in work environment which leads to successful or unsuccessful gamification application, and we are only at the beginning of knowing and understanding them. So it is very important to know more, to think a little bit different about points and badges in our work environment. So thank you for time, thank you for your attention, and if you have questions, just let's connect. So thank you.
Thank you, Dovila, for sharing your knowledge about gamification application. As we are running short of time, I want to thank you again to all the presenters for such a great start of the conference. Now I'd like to invite all of you to join your preferred conference sessions that have already started. I would also like to emphasize that there is only one Zoom link available for all the separate sessions. So once you press that link, you will need to choose a particular room in order to enter your chosen session. You will find the full program link at the conference login link below in the description of this video. Rooms are created accordingly to the session names. So room number 1 is in session number 1. So room number 1 is aviation management. Room number 2 is digital media and events. Room number 3, creative industries. Room number 4, there's a lot of rooms. Business communication, motivation and development. Room number 5, innovation, resources, innovations, law and human rights. Room number 6, logistics, business, development. Room number 7, health technologies and wellness design. So thank you again, and we hope you will take a lot of great ideas and inspirations from this conference. So thank you very much again, and enjoy your rooms.